today is linear momentum. You know the meaning of the word linear, right? The meaning of the word linear means in straight line. Linear means in straight line. Then what else word are added with momentum? It is angular momentum. Now what does this word angular means? Angular means when you move in a circle, when you rotate. What is angular momentum? That is again we'll be seeing in the other lectures, higher classes, right? Right now we'll discuss a simple aspect of the momentum. The word linear, it means in a straight line. Now we'll discuss about the momentum. What do we mean by the word momentum? Let us see in words. Momentum means is defined as product of mass and velocity. This is what the momentum means in the terms of words, and the same words if we convert it into mathematical form, then momentum P is given by mass into velocity. Now let us understand what exactly these words they mean, right? So I'll give you one example, right? Let us say 100 gram of cotton. It falls from 4th floor on someone's head. What will happen? 100 gram of cotton, right? Cotton in the sense which cotton, right? You can take a bale of a cotton. So that simple cotton bale like this, if it falls from the 4th floor on someone's head, what happens? Right? Let us say this is a 4-story building. Someone is standing here. So 100 gram of cotton ball, it falls on someone's head. What will happen? Contradictory, another question, that is, if 100 gram of metallic ball falls, then what will happen? Now instead of cotton ball, let us say 100 gram of metallic ball. If it falls on someone's head, then what will happen? Now answer is very clear in your mind, right? This cotton ball will just create a small effect. Maybe a person will notice that something has fall on his head from the top. But in this case, there will be a catastrophic damage to the person. Why does cotton ball does not create much effect, and why does metallic ball creates an effect? Mass of both of them are same. They are falling from the same height. Then what happens? Here velocities are different. Velocity of the cotton ball, right, it is something, and velocity of this metallic ball, it is something. Masses are same, velocities are different. Now let us take another example, right? Example number 2 I take. Scooter, right? Scooter, two-wheeler gearless vehicle. Scooter hits you at speed of, let's say 40 meters per second, right? Or you better understand in the terms of 40 kilometers per hour. That is too high. Let me make it small. 20 kilometers per hour. And the other way I'll say contradictory, that cycle hits you at a speed of 20 kilometers per hour. Now again the results are clear, right? Scooter is going to create a damage to your bones, to your body, whereas cycle it's not going to create. Now here thing to notice that speed is same in both the case, but mass of the scooter and mass of the cycle are different. Now in such situations, right, here the masses are same, velocities are different. Here velocities are same, masses are different. Now in order to compare the impact created in such cases when masses may be same, may not be same, velocities may be same, may not be same. Under such circumstances, if you want to measure the impact created, then you use the word momentum, right? Momentum, that is product of mass and velocity. So how do we explain this situation? Here we will say that momentum of the cotton ball was less. Its mass is same as metallic ball, but the velocity was less, right? So momentum of the cotton ball was less than the metallic ball, hence cotton ball created a lesser damage. Other way if you speak, then momentum of the metallic ball was very high, very much greater, right? Momentum of a metallic ball was very much greater. What do you mean by momentum? The product of mass and velocity of metallic ball was much greater, hence it created a larger impact. It created a catastrophic damage. Same thing here. The momentum of the scooter was much larger. When you say momentum, that means product of mass and velocity. So momentum of scooter was much larger, hence it created a much catastrophic damage, whereas for the cycle, its momentum was less. Its mass is less, right? Velocities of both of them are same, but mass of the cycle is less. Hence it created a lesser damage. So that is what, or that is, these are the examples where we use the word momentum, right? Linear momentum. This is also traveling in straight line. Scooter is also traveling in straight line. Cycle is also traveling in straight line. So linear momentum, it is defined as product of mass and velocity, or you can say the combined effect of mass and velocity, it is called as momentum. In other words, you can say combined effect of mass and velocity is called momentum, right? It is a physical quantity, right? It can be measured. Its SI unit will be, unit of the mass is kg, and what is the SI unit of velocity? Meter per second. So SI unit of the momentum is kg meter per second, and if you calculate CGS unit, right, what it will be? Gram centimeter per second. So that is about the linear momentum. Then regarding the linear momentum, we have one more term, that is change in momentum. What do we mean by change in momentum? This word is very much important. We'll go into much more detail about the word momentum in the second law. We had gone through about the first law in the second lecture, right? Now we are going through about this new term momentum in the third lecture. After this we have a Newton's second law. Second law holds lots of importance about this word momentum. So this is the explanation to the momentum. Now we'll see what do we mean by change in momentum, right? So change in momentum, change, it is denoted by this symbol triangle. In physics we denote change by the triangle. So we want change in momentum, that is change in P, capital P, right? So change in momentum, how there will be a change in momentum? Obviously that is, there should be some final momentum, there should be some initial momentum. What do you mean by final momentum? What do you mean by initial momentum? Initial momentum means, let's say here, what was the velocity of the cotton ball here? So velocity of the cotton ball here was 0, it increased, right? So initial momentum is mass into initial velocity. Final momentum means mass into final velocity, right? Or you can also say like this, velocity into final mass, then velocity into initial mass. Is this correct? When we say that change in momentum, change means final value minus initial value. So there is obviously some change in these two terms. When we say change in momentum, that means change in mass or change in momentum, change in velocity. If it is change in velocity, we denote this way. If it is change in mass, we denote this way. But can there be a change in mass? Can there be a change in mass? Obviously no. This is a very typical thing. This is not possible, at least on Earth, right? Change in mass is generally not possible. Why did I say generally not possible? Why didn't I say impossible? because change in mass is possible when change in mass occurs only when speed is near to speed of light. So this scenario generally don't happen in our day-to-day life, right? Cotton ball falling from the height, mass will not change. Metallic ball falling from a height, mass will not change. So general examples, our day-to-day examples which we observe, in those conditions there is no change in mass, right? Change in mass occurs only when the speed is near to the speed of light. You know, speed of light 3 into 10 to the power 8 meters per second. If anything moves at such a high speed, if you can move such a high speed, then the change in mass will occur. However, that is a much deeper, much complex and a much higher part of the physics that you will be discussing in the some other sections at PhD levels. But our discussion is restricted to this part. Change in momentum means change in velocity, right? So we can again, this is just a topic to be understood. It is not a theoretical topic. This is a theoretical topic. This is to be understood. So change in momentum, right? It is nothing but mass into change in velocity. This can be further written as mass into final velocity minus initial velocity. So this is the change in momentum. We have numericals based on this. So clear about change in momentum. When we say change in momentum, that means the speed of the body has changed from some initial value to the final value. That is what the change in momentum means. Okay, now we come on to the Newton's second law. What is Newton's second law? Newton's second law. Let me write down its statement. What is the statement? Its statement is, I'm writing blue color. Rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force applied. What does it mean? As I said that momentum, change in momentum, these words are important for the second law. So here we see these words, momentum, change in momentum, right? So if I write this statement in the mathematical form, then change in momentum I will write down first, right? Change in momentum. When I say word rate, rate means with respect to time, right? So this is change in momentum with respect to time. With respect to time means change in time. How momentum changes with time, and the way momentum changes with time, it is directly proportional to the force. Whatever you force apply, right, based on that there will be a change in momentum. Let us understand. Let's say you have a ball, right, lying on the surface of the ground. Let us say the ball is moving with some initial velocity u. The ball was already rolling. Another footballer came, he kicked the ball. Ball was already rolling and another footballer again kicked it. What will happen? Velocity of the ball will change. Initial velocity to the final velocity. And this happens in a time interval delta t. Right? Kicking a ball. Just take a very small interval of time. Right? The ball was coming and a batsman. Just a small contact of the ball and the bat will result in the change in velocity of the ball in a very small time. So under this situation, right, if we apply this thing, change in momentum, what is the change in momentum here? So mass of the ball is not going to change, right? Final velocity minus initial velocity. See here, change in momentum. So that is v minus u. Now dividing it with the time. So delta P by delta T, that is, as I said, that this happens in a some time T. Let us take simple T. So V minus U by T, right? Further simplifying, what is V minus U by T? Recollect second chapter, equations of motion. If you recollect this equation, V is equals to U plus AT, then you will be easily able to guess out what does this mean. V minus U by T. V minus U by T will give you the acceleration. So I can write down here that delta P by delta T is ma. What do I get ultimately? Delta P by delta T is what? F. So F is equals to ma. Here I get mathematical formula for the force from the Newton's second law. Newton's second law, it gives mathematical formula for the force. Let us write down in a very perfect way. This is absolutely right. Newton's second law, rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the force applied. The same thing if I write it in mathematical form, it is this. Next statement is removing proportionality sign, right, and putting a constant. So no need to put a constant here. Here we can write down that rate of change of momentum, right, it is directly proportional to the force applied. So again we can write down here directly proportional to the ma, and removing proportionality sign, right, a constant term is added which is k. K can be written as k is constant of proportionality and its value is always 1 in SI form. So ultimately conclude F is equals to ma. So Newton's second law statement, its mathematical form, applying its mathematical form to the some situation, and with that situation we get a mathematical equation for the force. You can write down here considerations, that consider a ball moving with velocity u. Its velocity changes to v in time t, and then this mathematical form. This is a 2 to 3 mark derivation. Derive F is equals to ma. The questions can be derive F is equals to ma, or the question can be from the Newton's second law obtain expression of the force. That is the another way to ask this question. Or it can be obtain the mathematical format of the Newton's second law. So it must be now very clear that Newton's second law, it defines the force. One more conclusion you can add up here, that is Newton's second law gives quantitative explanation of force. What do you mean by quantitative? Quantitative means here we get exactly in the terms of mathematical relation. But first law, it was all in words. First law is completely in words. There is no mathematics involved, right? First law is everything is words. So we can also say that Newton's, these are just comments, right, after the topics. This due to these things we conclude after studying all these topics. Newton's first law is qualitative explanation to the force. Newton's first law gives qualitative means just it explains in words. There is no mathematical proof, no calculations involved. Whereas second law, it gives quantitative explanation of the force, means there is mathematical formula is involved. So that's enough for today. We'll continue in the next class. If you have liked the lecture, please comment, like, share and subscribe. Thank you.